Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion on this glorious day. I just came in because it's gotten a little toasty. It's actually very beautiful. Plus, there's the smoke residual stuff from the fires up in Quebec, and obviously the people in the province of Quebec have it way worse than we do. So, sending the good vibes out to them. But yeah, so I came inside. So what I wanted to my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm super pumped to have this conversation today on basically the biggest success blocker, which is when people are, I'll say obstacle. It's almost the same. Because people, I think, don't understand the power of limiting beliefs. We walk around, 95 to 96% of every single thing we think, feel, and do, and that's the order: think, feel, do, right? And also say, it all comes out of thoughts, is coming from the vault of the unconscious mind. That is just the plain and simple truth, just how it is. And so I think Joe Dispenza, my mind is faster than my mouth. That has always been a problem for me. Anyway, Joe Dispenza has talked about this a lot and how after the age of 35, things are pretty locked. But then there's also just, everything that was said to us growing up, if it was said to us before age 3, we don't even have a memory of it. You might think you do, but you really don't. And we have a lot of memories that don't even involve language, because obviously, there was a while there where we were taking it all in but didn't have language yet. So there's a lot of stuff buried in there that can feed into this, right? And so I think people often don't explore their limiting beliefs, because until we bring it to awareness, till we know, actually have a grip on what it is that's holding us back, it's very difficult, obviously, to make changes and let that stuff go. So we have to kind of explore that if we're going to, kind of blow through, I have my visual for you. I was just sharing this with my mastermind friends last weekend, actually. In the past, whenever I've, felt right there with the limiting belief, I would do this visual meditation. You could call it that. I really closed my eyes and pictured this. But in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie, when Charlie wins, he does the whole thing with the everlasting gobstopper, and he wins, and he gets in the rocket, and they blow through the glass. That's what I would picture over and over, just blowing through the glass, right? So that's what we're talking about. But in order to do that, we have to know what the glass is holding us back, right? And so basically, the high majority, if not all of it, has its roots in self-value. Because if you don't value yourself, well, we can't take care of a self we don't value. It's difficult to support a self in being successful if we don't value that self. Most of it, if not all of it, the roots of it is self-value for the most part, which is also the roots of imposter syndrome, right? Which means basically not believing we're as good as other people say we are, despite the evidence all around us, and all the compliments and all the maybe physically tangible results of seeing trophies and things in print, or people, just whatever, and not just sort of not believing that. And that's super important to get that on some level, because thoughts, when we think them over and over and over again, become beliefs, right? And then beliefs, when we believe, become knowings. Now, beliefs and knowings are super good when they're positive. So that's what we're trying to rewire here. We've got to first, though, know what that thought is. And then another one that also comes out of self-value, and it's also very common, and what I wrestled with myself for a long time, was, my relationship with money. And that's a common one. For some people, it might not be actual cash, but just what monetary success represents. Like, it might be square footage, it might be a boat, it might be a car, whatever. But still, it's all really the same. Because I had to wrestle. I had a lot of very shameful messages said to me along the way about money. And then I made, now I'm good. But, a couple decades ago is where I really started to make all these changes. And I made some legit, just bad decisions based because of the shame and because of not having the education on, as educated as I am, not having the educated not having the education on money and credit, and I just way back, my early 20s, my mid 20s, my late 20s, into my early 30s, I just was not in a great place with that particular thing. I really worked. I really made a lot of just not good decisions, and I had that just hit, sort of tripped the cord on the shame cycle from all the things that were said to me. Early on. So a lot of people have that, and other people have money issues with that maybe aren't related to that. But another common one is believing that that people who make a lot of money are jerks, right? And I tell you, my mastermind group is super successful, and one thing I can tell you is they aren't anything but jerks. They're heart-centered, brilliant, just wonderful, other-oriented people. They're just awesome. And a lot of people have to wrestle with that. So what happens if I think wealthy people are jerks? That means if I make a lot of money, people might think I'm a jerk, and all that stuff. The universe is going to hear all that and not have you in that place of making a lot of money. And not that I'm saying making a lot of money is what defines success, because if you listen to other episodes, you know that I've got a much broader definition of success than that. For me, it's being very comfortable in my skin, as comfortable as possible in my skin, being able to set boundaries easily, respectfully, with kindness, and just easily. I can do this, that, and not that. Thanks for asking. I mean, it's how it is. And I'll check my calendar and get back to you. And, and just showing up. My mastermind friends talk a lot like that, and I have to say, I really have taken out of the vocab. Sometimes it'll be like, well, how do you want to show up to that? And it doesn't necessarily mean, it can mean what you choose to wear and your hair and all that, but mostly that is an outward expression of all the confidence stuff going on inside. So success to me is a lot broader than the square footage and the cars and all that anyway. Okay, but as far as limitlessness, I want to steer back to limitlessness. And so these limiting beliefs, we've got to do like this archaeological dig. We've got to be aware of them before we can do anything about them. And then once we're aware of them, then we can start to really rewire that stuff and talk back to it. Okay, so there's all this evidence around us. What's the brick wall there that's not allowing us to experience the good feels, right? We talked about all the stigma stuff with money. So if you have all that, it's not going to come to you. You got to flip that around, right? So the worthiness thing is huge. So limitless people are aware of their once limiting beliefs and have worked through them and let them go, okay? At least very much most of the way. Like, we can be works in progress. I just pulled out that last splinter last weekend. Gone. I only had about this much to go. And one of the people at my conference just helped me. It's gone. It was like this little tiny splinter, gone. Limitless people know what they are and let them, and know how to let them go, like helium balloons. Limitless people have cleared out the junk. This is so important. The junk may not even have to do with what you aspire to do. You aspire to start a new business. You want to do a startup, right? You aspire to write a play, write a book, travel, start a service business or something. Like, who knows? Whatever it is, but the junk doesn't have to be related directly to what you're doing. Resentments and guilt and regret and self-doubt and all that stuff will get in the way. Absolutely. So limitless people know that, and they've done like a bulldozer, just whatever it is, whoever wronged me, whoever did whatever. We're not giving anybody a pass. We're not saying that. I'm just clearing it out. I'm done with it already. Just dump, like emotional landfill. Just done. I know Wayne Dyer talks a lot about there are no justified resentments. I mean, no matter who did something horrible or whatever, we want to just let it go, because Claudia Black has one of the best definitions of forgiveness I've ever heard. Because often we think of, some people don't even like the word forgiveness because they get stirred up, because it could be severe, like somebody molested somebody at 5 years old. It's all horrible. Of course they don't get a pass. And people will say, oh, well, to forgive means to forget. Forgiveness is forgetting. No, it doesn't. The mind is not like a computer with a delete button, and anybody who's experienced trauma knows that. The memories just, keep it up till there's healing and work done and all that sort of thing, and there's rewiring of the brain. So Claudia Black says, forgiveness has nothing to do with forgetting. It has everything to do with remembering and choosing to move forward. Okay, so clear it out, remembering and choosing to move forward, and then you feel so much lighter. But here's the thing, kind of like this is kind of like a computer, the space, right? So the space thing, because my computer's been doing this for a while now, and I've just got it fixed with the lovelies at the help desk at the college. The circle goes like this, like super slow, when there's not enough space to process things. So we get rid of all those, metaphorical viruses, right? The resentment that's huge. Resentment makes me think of big weights, and guilt and regret and shame, the most toxic emotion a human being can possibly experience. And when you wipe it clean, and all of a sudden, like, the creative juices just flow. Entrepreneurial stuff, travel stuff, all kinds of interior decorating creativity, whatever you want to do with art on a canvas, whether you want to open a tattoo business, whatever, just flows. It's like a faucet you can't shut off, and nor would you, right? Okay, so limitless people are aware of the limiting beliefs and let them go. Limitless people clear out the junk. Not just what's related to the business. Limitless people are aware of the divine connection. Limitless people get it. We're not talking about religion here. We're talking about spirituality and believing in a power greater than ourselves, right? It can be the universe, source with a capital S, God, or whatever. But limitless people are absolutely aware of that. They're aware that you can't land in your authentic, best, high vibe self without getting that. And that this divine connection is basically, it's so powerful, this divine connection creates worlds, literally. So being aware of that certainly, channels the power, really. Star Wars is deep. You really gotta, if anyone who's not seen Star Wars, I can't imagine there is anyone who hasn't seen Star Wars, you might want to watch. That whole Force thing is like super deep. Okay, so divine connection, and also limitless people know that whatever it is going to happen. It's the startup business, it's the children's book, it's the tattoo thing you want to do, it's traveling Europe, it's doing an expedition in Antarctica, whatever. The limitless people know that it's going to happen. They don't necessarily know how, and that's okay with them, because they act as if. Limitless people act as if, and they sit with that feeling of the Antarctica thing, like it's coming and then somebody calls and how do you know there's an expedition and they have like 2 spots left, and you and your friend, and they cut the price because they're leaving on Saturday or whatever, and it just starts to show up. You start to see Antarctica on pamphlets, and it's people start to saying it when you're in line at the grocery store, and it just happens. They don't know how it's going to happen, they just know it's going to happen because they act as if. That was actually my 5th one. Know it's going to happen, not necessarily how. Sorry, 4th one, act as if. And limitless people are aware of how gratitude works. Limitless people are aware of how gratitude works, because it's celebrating those small wins that leads to the big success. So it's very important to celebrate the breadcrumbs. Every time there's a green light, something works towards the travel plan to Antarctica, something works towards the startup business, something works towards the children's book, something works towards building your dream home, whatever it is, and it seems so tiny, like maybe there's just a phone message on your machine. If people have landlines, we are like one of those people that just don't want to let go of it. Let's say it's on your voicemail on your cell phone. So there's a builder who's now free, who can do it, whatever. So celebrate that, because these little wins add up to huge successes. And again, the limitless crew knows that. Because we've said this before, the universe, it's how it operates. If somebody shows up at your door and gives you a present, just because they went to Antarctica or Europe or South America or someplace and brought you something super special, Antarctica would probably be a really shiny pebble, which I'm a big fan of little shiny pebbles. But let's say they brought you something super thoughtful from wherever they went, and they said, okay, now we'll go to lunch, and after you open it, and then you say, yeah, I'll open it a little later. Let's go to lunch. Is that person going to give you another present? Probably not, right? Because you couldn't even open it. Well, the universe is the same. Like, if you're not grateful for what you already have, why would the universe, source, God, higher power, give you anything else? It makes great sense. It's actually very logical, right? And so limitless people get that, and they are super, super grateful, well connected, right? We talked about it, and clear, and that's how it all happens. So I just wanted to have that chat with you. The number one blocker for success is not exploring your limiting beliefs. And then the rest will be history once you blow through that like Willy Wonka at the end of that movie. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my living room in northern Vermont. Have a mindful, limitless day.